Hello everybody. Today we are going to learn about AWS, Amazon Web Services. Today we are gonna deep dive into basically the theory part of what actually AWS is, and also the practical approach on how to basically uh, deploy a very basic application on AWS. For this video will basically provide you all the basic necessary knowledge that you need to know about AWS, regardless of what uh, type of developer you are. Maybe you are a software developer, you are developing maybe websites or stuff, but you want to just learn AWS for fun, for hobby, or you want to learn somewhere new to deploy your websites. So this is the perfect video for that. This does not dive very deep into the advanced part of AWS, and neither the uh, intermediate part. But what it promises you is that if you are a true beginner, if you have ever come across AWS console, the page that you can see right now, and you have faced difficulties in like understanding what actually is, uh, you have found this whole application to be a lot complicated. By the end of this video, you all your doubts will be cleared, and you will gain hands-on experience of how to use AWS actually. First of all, we will be diving into a few concepts of AWS, and that will help us to uh, basically learn how AWS works and all that. So, first of all, I'm just gonna show you how the AWS console looks like. So this is the AWS console, management console. So basically here is where all the magic happens. All right. As you can see, there's written console home, this recently visited services. You can also visit all the services, and uh, we are not going to dive into many services today. We are going to just dive into a very few services, but those are very key services, very important, important as a foundation. And these are the applications that you can have deployed in the past and all. So let's jump into the theory part instead of understanding this. We'll come back to the console in a bit after understanding the basics. So, in order to uh, make you understand how AWS works, how the uh, networking of AWS works, I have made this diagram. It's not a very accurate uh, description of how AWS works, but it is a very, I would say, far-fetched version of how it works, and it will be helpful for you. You can understand all the concepts from here. So, what is AWS? AWS is Amazon Web Services. And what is that? So basically, Amazon Web Services or AWS is a cloud service provider. So what is cloud? Clouds are not the physical clouds that you see in the sky. These clouds are basically applications, data, or anything running somewhere else other than your own device. All right. You might be watching this video in a laptop, or you might be watching this in a phone. But if any sort of code, any sort of application, any sort of data, anything that is not using your device's resources, that is not running on your devices, is basically cloud. So you can relate it with the physical clouds that you see in the sky. They are basically floating around in the sky. So the data, the applications, they are not physically present inside your device, but you can access them. How? They are flowing in the internet. They are stored somewhere. It's not like that it's actually flowing. They are stored somewhere in someone else's device, but you can access it through cloud. That's basically what cloud is. And Amazon Web Services is basically a cloud service provider. All right. So cloud, you understood. Cloud service is basically cloud service provider is basically providing this service to developers or people who want to use cloud for their applications or any sort of thing. So what they do, what actually happens in cloud service providers is basically Amazon owns a lot of machines, a lot of servers, all right, and they provide those servers to the developers, and those developers can like basically it's like I'm not actually buying a whole new device to run any sort of application. All right. I'm actually borrowing those devices from Amazon. That's basically AWS. So let's just take a very simple example. Let's say that you want to basically uh, run a application, a web application, or let's say you want to basically train a ML model. So you must be knowing that training a ML model is not that easy. It requires some kind of compute. All right. It's not that easy for any kind of laptop. It actually depends on the ML model. But let's say the ML model that you're trying to train is is very resource intensive. It requires resources that are not enough in your laptop. All right. Let's say your laptop is not a gaming laptop, it's just normal laptop. So what do? You go to AWS and just say to Jeff Bezos that you want a laptop of your own. All right. And you want a gaming laptop of your own, but you don't want to pay the whole cost of that gaming laptop. But instead, what you are gonna do is that you're gonna pay Jeff Bezos only the amount that you are using. All right, let's say that you are just using that for training that single ML application. So Jeff Bezos is not gonna charge you for the whole device. He's just gonna charge you for the compute you used in his device while training that ML model. So that's basically how AWS works. So there's big servers, big devices, big physical devices, heavy, heavier as humans, maybe 40, 50 kg servers, and they are stored all over the world, all over the world. Almost each continent has two to three, maybe four to five uh, Amazon server locations. And in there are servers running, there are devices which you can rent out basically. And you can run your application, run anything you want in those applications. That's basically how AWS works. That's basically the gist of how cloud service providers works. Cloud service providers are not just Amazon provides that, even GCP, Google Cloud Provider, Azure from Microsoft, all those also provide these services. But AWS is the most famous one, and we are going to learn that only today. All right. So today we are going to first brush up our little bit networking part of how AWS works. Now you know what AWS is, and you can probably explain it to anyone. All right. And so let's talk about the networking part. All right. So as you can see in this diagram, so uh, this is AWS. This whole block represents AWS. And inside that block, you can see there are multiple components. There's this region thing, all right. It's somewhat greenish colored region, as you can see, greenish colored line boundary. All right. Then you can see this red colored boundary, that's a security group. Then you can see something named as VPC. Then there's something subnets. Then there's something as public subnet. All these things. are present inside this AWS uh, block. So basically, let's understand this part by part. So what does this AWS block means? This AWS block means all the services inside AWS. All right. So this represents everything that AWS has to offer. All right. So as you can see, inside AWS, there's this region thing. Now, what's that region? So, just like I told you, that AWS has these servers all over the world, and they are not clustered in a single place in the whole world. They're spread across the world. They are in different regions. All right. You might have got a hint about what's actually region is. So those servers are spread across regions. All right. Those AWS servers are spread across regions. So in India, if you're talking about India, there's uh, a region in Mumbai, and basically in Mumbai they have maybe probably 50,000 to 80,000 servers in that particular region. All right. So basically, region represents where your server is located, where the resources that you're using from AWS are located. In our case, today we are gonna use uh, Mumbai. All right, you can use any of it. It's not like that. If let's say you're in India and you use the server from the US region, it will give you slow connectivity. It's not like that. Location does not matter that much. All right, it might matter in very big applications, but it's not a very big deal. All right, so you might have understood what region is actually. All right. Now let's move on to what's basically inside this region. All right. Before moving on to what's actually security group is, I would like to basically touch upon VPC. I wanna explain you what VPC is. All right. So VPC, the full form of VPC is Virtual Private Cloud, or Virtual Private Computer. All right. It could be both of them. All right. So basically, what's VPC is, it's as the name suggests, it's a virtual private computer. All right. It's a private computer. It's a PC. All right. You must own a PC. You must own a laptop. So you know what a PC is. But this PC is not present in front of you. It's virtual. Just like I said, it's present in the cloud. It's present somewhere in AWS servers. So that's what virtual private computer means. And basically what VPC means is that it's a isolated system. It's an isolated network of resources. All right. So basically, to explain what VPC is, I would like to bring in the example of LAN. Uh, in your school or maybe in your college, you must have learned about LAN, all right, local area network. So what's basically LAN? LAN is basically, let's say you're at your home, and let's say uh, there's this PC that your maybe friend has, and this is your PC, let's say. And how do you think, I mean, what do you think happens when, let's say, I sent a maybe email to my friend on this laptop, on this PC, from this PC? What do you think happens? So, do you think that the email, the data from this PC goes directly to this? No, it doesn't happen like that. All right. The basically the computers in a network, they are connected with each other, but they cannot directly contact each other. For that, there's the router thing. You must have seen the Wi-Fi routers in at your home. Those those boxes with antennas. So those are routers. So that those actually help us to send and receive data in our PCs. So what happens is that basically LAN is a very isolated system. It's a very isolated system of just a few computers, just a few PCs. All right. And those PCs interact with each other in that LAN. So, for the example of this LAN, I've taken the example of a LAN at your home. So, as you can see, just like I mentioned, all right, I mentioned about the router also. All right. So, basically, what happens in LAN is that, let's say you want to send a data. I've already mentioned about the part which was related to how you send data to a PC which is already in that LAN. But what about some computer who is far, far away from me, who is not actually connected to my Wi-Fi router? So what happens in that case is that my data is sent to that Wi-Fi router, and then that Wi-Fi router sends that data to the Wi-Fi router of that person, and then that Wi-Fi router sends that data to that person's PC. So that's how basically all the networking happens. That's basically in a just how internet works. All right. So LAN is a very isolated sort of network. It cannot actually connect with other computers without this Wi-Fi router. This is the most important thing. This is basically what connects everything. All right. So basically, this is how a LAN works. So as you can see, it's basically an isolated network. And a private computer is also something like that. It also works like a LAN. All right. So there's basically it's isolated from the whole world, and there's just a few computers that can interact with each other. But if you want to interact with the computers outside that LAN, you need a router. And we all would also see how virtual private computers allow that. So, all right, let's also talk about what IP is. All right. So basically, you might have seen a lot of times this IP. All right. So what IP basically represents? IP is Internet Protocol. All right. So basically, this IP address, this is IP address. So IP address is nothing but like the address of you on the internet. It's basically like if you go to Google Map and see your current location, you might see the coordinates of your location, and uh, that's basically the address of your physical location. But if you want to see the location of your maybe the your online self, your online self has the address as IP address. That's basically the address of you on the internet. uh, some person on the internet cannot send you data or access you or interact with you using the Google Maps location, because that's a physical location. The person needs your IP address to connect to you. And every single website on the earth has IP address. All right. Every single device on the earth has IP address. All right. So that's basically what how IP address works and what IP address is. So basically, like I said, IP address is the location of your computer. And to see all right, let's try a very quick exercise. I want you to just go to your terminal, just open your terminal and just type this command ipconfig. All right, you can see your IP v4 address. Don't worry about the v4. It's basically represents how many, I would say, how many blocks are there in the IP address. As you can see, there's four. There's also v6 that represents six. All right, one, two, three, five, four, six. All right, and as you can see, this is your IP address. All right. I want you to do another thing. Just go to your browser and just type this in, check my IP, and you can go to any of the websites you want. I'm just gonna go to here, and as you can see, the IP that it's showing to me is 103 and blah blah blah. But have you noticed one thing? Is that this IP address and this IP address is not matching. So why is that? Uh, you don't have two locations of your house. You just have one. But why does your device has two locations? So to explain that, let's once again take the example of LAN. So in order to basically uh, refer you, refer your computer inside the LAN, we use the private IP. We use the private IP address, which is this one. And in order to refer to your device from the internet throughout the world, we use a public IP address. It's basically, I'm going to give you a very understandable analogy, is that you have a full name that you have got, but you also have a nickname that you use at your house. So the public IP address is basically like the full name, uh, basically like a full name, and the private IP is basically uh, like the nickname that is used in your home. Uh, the nickname that your parents or your friends call you by. That's not known to some stranger on the internet or some stranger who doesn't know you. All right. That nickname is only known by the very few people inside your home. So that's private. And what's public is your whole name. That's available to all the strangers in the world. So that's public. And that's how the public IP address is. It's available to anyone on the internet. If someone from USA wants to, if someone wants to send you any sort of data from another country, they are gonna use this IP address. But if there is someone inside your house who is connected with your Wi-Fi router, he's gonna use this IP address. And one thing I want to clear is that location does not matter. Your friend could be inside your house and still he could not be connected to your Wi-Fi router. That would also be treated as someone who is outside your LAN. Alright. So I guess you must have got the gist of how LAN works, how the router works, and how the internet works. And internet is nothing but a collection of LANs. Alright. It's basically clusters of LANs. There are billions, maybe trillions of LANs throughout the world, and the internet is just one big interconnected web of that. All right. So uh, that's how basically LAN works, and that's how in short, how internet works also. All right. Another thing also, as you can uh, I want you to notice something. As you can see in the public IP of this one and this one, there's actually no relation between these two. Correct? There's actually no sort of relation or similarity between these two. But if you can see in the private IP of these two, you can see some sort of similarities, some sort of relation between them. Just see the first two blocks of the IP address. That's 10, alright, that's 35 matches. But the only part differs is that these last two blocks. Alright. So I'm also going to explain you this new concept, which is basically CIDR. CIDR, classless inter-domain routing. So basically what CIDR means is it's basically uh, in very in a very far-fetched manner. You want to understand it in a very clear way. It's nothing but a distribution of IP addresses uh, among inside a network, inside a LAN. All right. So it's basically distributing IP addresses to the computers inside that network and also ensuring that none of those computers get same IP addresses. That's basically how CIDR works. Alright. Just to give you a gist of how this works. Alright. So, alright. Let me show like how do you think that these IP addresses are configured? How these are actually allocated to these computers? Using Cider. So basically, what happens is that you keep some part of the basically you keep some part of the IP address fixed, and the rest of it, basically the network can decide depending on the availability of the IP addresses and the number of computers in that network. All right. So the part that's kept fixed in this one is 10.35. All right. So how that works is that I'm just gonna write 10.35.0.0 slash 60. All right. What does this basically means is that as you can see, uh, basically, all right. Before that, let me uh, explain another concept. Let me open my yeah. So how does how does the cider thing works. All right. Before what I was showing you, I would like to show you this. All right. Let's take the example of this IP address. All right. Let's take the example of this IP address. All right. As you can see, there are four blocks of the IP address, and there's four numbers. The four blocks basically means four numbers of the IP address, and these four numbers are basically at the core they are not represented as these numbers. At the core, they are basically represented as binary. All right. So what's basically binary? As you know, it's just basically one. It's basically ones and zeros. That's what basically binary is. Yeah, you know that. All right. So what happens is that basically this IP address is converted into a binary form. Alright, this 10 will be converted into a binary form. This 35 also, this 0 also, this 25 also. And basically, for each of the blocks, the maximum digits or maybe the maximum amount of uh, binary that can be stored is 8 bits. So what basically 8 bits means is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you cannot go higher than these. Alright. So you can represent numbers uh, up to 8-bit binary only. And just to simplify that, that means that you can represent numbers from 0 to 255. That's basically what it means. And how do you calculate is it's very simple. It's basically uh, the number of it's basically 2 to the power the number of bits. In our case, it's 8 bits, to 2 to the power 8, and that's 256. So the numbers can be represented, the total number of numbers that can be represented are 256, and that starts from 0 to 255. Alright. So for each block, the number can be between 0 to 255. Alright. Alright. You must have understood this now. Alright. Now, let's say I want to see how the CIDR works for this LAN and how basically the IP addresses are configured for them. Alright. So I'm going to write a statement like this, and then I'm going to explain to you what this basically means. So what this basically means is that I want to allocate uh, IP addresses to the computers on my systems while keeping the first 16 bits of this IP address as fixed. Whatever number that you keep here, that many bits are basically kept as fixed. Alright. And as I've already told you, each block is 8-bit. So this one is 8-bit, this one is 8-bit. So basically what that means, this slash 16, what that basically means is that that 10.35 is going to be fixed for all the IP addresses inside that network. And the 0.0, this will be basically variable. This one can go from 0 to 255, just like I mentioned. This one can also be going from 0 to 25. Alright, that's basically how CIDR works. So after running this, you can basically get something like this. Alright. So for this one, it shows 0 and 25. For this one, it shows 2 and 67. So that's basically what CIDR means and how it basically works. Alright. I also want to show you one website. So just type in cider calculator and go to the first website and just type in what I just typed in, 10.35, or maybe let's take it as 0, right? Slash, or just leave the slash. I'm gonna put it here. Let's select 16-bit. Let's calculate. So the total number of IPs are 65,000. Alright. If you do just a bit of math, so this one can go from 0 to 255, this one can go from 0 to 255, and you apply the formulas of permutation and combinations, you will find this number. Let's go with maybe, let's say, 24-bit. How did this number arrive? So basically what slash 24 means is that the first 24 bits are going to be constant. So 8, 16, 24. So the only thing that is variable is the last one. And as you know, each block goes from 0 to 255. So there's only 256 combinations for this. So there are only 256 IPs in this case. And if you, let's say, go to 32-bit. So what's this doing is that 0, sorry, 8, 16, 24, 32. So it's keeping all of them constant. So there's nothing to change and you get only one IP. Alright, so that's basically how CIDR works. Alright, so by now you must have learned, you must have understood what CIDRs are, what IP addresses are, what are routers, how the internet works, how the LANs works. Now it's going to be very easy for you to understand the networking of AWS. So VPC is nothing but a LAN. It's a bunch of computers uh, isolated from the whole world, just like in a LAN. All right. And inside a VPC, there are subsections, and those subsections are known as subnets. Those subnets are uh, basically, let's say this is a LAN, and you can, let's say I'm dividing this into two or three parts, but these are just sections. All right. They are also isolated from the whole world, but just for much more categorization purposes, I'm doing this. Subnets are nothing but basically different sections inside a VPC. All right. And you can create as many subnets you want inside a VPC. All right. So, what we do in AWS is basically we create two kinds of subnets. One is the public subnet and the other one is the private subnet. The public subnet is basically provided with internet access. What that basically means is that it can connect to any device. It can send data to any device in the world, and it can also any device in the world can also access that subnet or that particular VPC section. All right. And basically, what private means is that only inside that VPC you can use that. There's you cannot access that from anywhere else. All right. So where is this used? So basically, for the public subnets, they are used uh, for maybe the front end part of your application. All right. So basically, let's say you're making a React web, application. So you're gonna write the front end in React and let's say the back end in Node.js. So in the public subnet, you're going to basically deploy your front end application on the public subnet because you don't because you want everyone in the world to access that. You don't want to restrict anyone. All right. So that's basically why we use a public subnet for the front end. And what's the private subnet for? It can be used for maybe the backend or maybe the databases. All right. Because you want to keep them isolated from the world, from any device in the world, because they might get hacked. You don't want your data to get leaked. You don't want anyone to get access to your database, to your backend. All right. So that's how basically you keep that safe. All right. So only the private subnet can access inside that subnet, inside that VPC, within that VPC. All right. So you might ask that how would the front end application uh, access that, access the backend of the database? As I said that basically the front end is inside the public subnet and the backend is inside the private subnet. So the private subnet cannot be accessed outside the VPC, but it can be accessed inside the VPC by any resources that is inside that VPC. And as you know, the front end is inside the public subnet that is inside the VPC. Therefore, it can access the backend and the database very easily. So that's basically how it works. That's basically how VPC works. And for the public subnet, how we actually connect it to the internet, as in the case of router, as in the case of LAN, we were using router. In the case of subnets, we are going to use internet gateway. As the name suggests, it's basically a gateway to the internet. It basically provides access to the internet. So that's basically what the basic structure of the AWS networking looks like. There's also another thing known as S3 bucket. S3 bucket is nothing but it's where you store your files. These are basically the code or maybe the assets that you want to access inside your application. So you store those things there. We are going to see everything. We are going to uh, explore a very hands-on experience. All right. The only thing left is the security group. And security group is nothing but it's basically what a firewall is. You must have seen firewalls in your device, in some websites maybe. Uh, all right. So the literal meaning of the word firewall is basically it's a wall that protects you from fire, that protects you from outer attacks. It was used by kings to protect their kingdoms from outer attacks. And it's also basically how we use in today's world. It's basically how we protect our data, our application from outer cyber attacks. So that's basically what security group means. All right. So now our theory part is over. You have understood what AWS is, what region is, what VPC, subnets, internet gateway, security group, the S3 bucket, everything. So now you're absolutely ready to go inside the console and explore the basic features, and let's see in action about what I was talking about. All right. So let's get in action. Right. So now we are going to jump into the hands-on part. So basically, uh, I want you to go to Google and just search Amazon console. Then you can just open this. Right. Just waiting it for it to load. Then sign into the console. And I'm already signed in, but you might need to sign in or maybe create your account. So for that, if you want to know how to create your Amazon AWS account, you can search on it on YouTube, or I might provide a link in the pinned comment. You can check it out. So let's start with it. So and yeah, another important thing is it Amazon AWS is gonna ask you to enter your credit card details. So, and don't worry, you're not going to get charged. You're going to use the free tier. We are going to use the free tier in this video, and I'm going to make 100% sure. I'm promising you that all the resources that we are going to use today, all of those will not cost you even a penny. All right. So, uh, I want you to first create your account. Just check out the video that I have put in the pinned comment, and then you can come back to this screen. Just make sure that you are inside this screen. All right. So now what I want to do is that basically instead of North Virginia, let's select Mumbai. All right, that's the place where I mostly work. All right. So the first thing which I want to do uh, is you might be seeing something like that, or you might not see something like that. This uh, that must be because you might be logged into the root user. All right, this is not the root user. You might be seeing maybe your name here. That's basically because you're signed in into the root user. But basically, what I want you to do is that you might also not see this recently visited because uh, your console will be a fresh one. So I want you to just go here and search I am and just go here. All right. So, just to provide you a very quick introduction about what IAM is, it's basically a user management platform created by AWS for the AWS customers. It's basically like an authentication system. You can basically create and manage the users inside your AWS accounts. You can basically create many users. Basically, uh, you can create many accounts for the uh, developers that are working on your application. You can give them different access. You can be the admin one, or you can give admin role to someone else. Basically, admin is the one who has access to all the resources inside your uh, AWS console. All right. So uh, the uh, things that I'm going to show you in this video, you can do all of those without creating a new user. But I want you to create it, and that basically uh, also makes you gain experience into how actually creating a user. If someone actually asks you how to create your user, or if you want to create it, how do you do it? So that's why I'm showing you tip, and it's also a very good practice. So just go to this users platform, this users tab, and as you can see, I already have two users, but this tab might be empty for you. So just go here, just click this orange button, create user, and then you can write any username. For the timing, I'm just gonna write sysadmin 3. You can select it as sysadmin or anything that you want. All right. So I want it as sysadmin 3. All right. So do you want to provide user access to the AWS management console? Yes. Okay. All right. So are you providing console access to a person? We recommend. All right. So I want to create an IAM user. You select this one, and then for the console password, just select as auto generate password. You can also select custom password, but I'm just going to select the auto generate password and even show it, but I'm not going to show it right now. You just must create, just uncheck this, right? Then next, add user to group. Uh, just select this one, attach policies direct. Policies are nothing but basically these are rules that state which user has which access. That's basically it. Nothing else. That's basically it. All right. So I want to provide administrator access. That's it for now. All right. So then next, and it's just going to show you the overview, the summary, and then just create a user. And then you can, before, don't jump into clicking the view user, just cross it for now. And you can see the login details over here. So just click on the download CSV file, and it's gonna download it for you. And don't open it with Excel, open it with Notepad. All right. So you're going to get something like this. This is the username, this is the password, this is the console sign-in URL. And don't worry about my password getting leaked. I'm going to delete this user before this video airs. And if not, you're feel free to hack me. All right. So what you need to do is that first you just sign on from here. All right. Then you just copy this URL and then just paste it over here. Then just copy your username. I am username, then the password, right? Let's just remove this one. Sign in, save. All right. So after creating, you must be seeing something like this. All right. This is a fresh account, and you must be seeing your username over here, the username that you type, and the ID. This is basically the IAM ID. Let's just select Mumbai. You can also do that, but if you don't want to, it's totally up to you. All right. So, or else, let's just go with North Virginia. All right. So our user has been created now. Now, what's our second step? I've also provided a list over here, and I'm also going to provide this to you uh, uh, as a uh, drive folder in the pin comment. You can check it out. So the next thing we need to do is basically create our VPC, just like I explained over here. So let's go, let's just search VPC. See, isolated cloud resources, virtual private computer. All right. So let's just let it load. All right, it's yeah. S- So I wanted to go to this tab, your VPCs, and you might already have a VPC over here. This is the default one. All right. This is the default VPC that is provided to all the users whenever they create an account. All right. But we are not going to use this one. We are going to create a VPC from scratch. So just click on create VPC. And for now, just click on VPC only. You can select on VPC and more, but you're not going to understand all this right now. But I'm going to make sure that by the end of this video, you understand all this. And after this video, you can even select this option also. But for now, we're just going to select this. My name tag, I'm just going to, let's say, my VPC 0 or my VPC only. Let's All right. Now, as I explained you, what's basically cider block, uh, it could be manual input or you can even. All right. So basically, let's use the example that I gave you earlier. So just like I said, it's going to keep the first 16 bits constant. So this and these are variable. So there's probably like 65,000 different combinations of IP addresses. So that's basically the IP cider. So that's how it works. IP cider block, no IP cider block, and then you can even put a tag. It could be basically the default one is the name and the name that you put, and there's nothing else. Just click on create VPC, and a VPC will be created. You can see a page like this, and you can also see a page. If you scroll down, you can see this resource map. All right. You can see the subnets just like I explained you. All right, I'm gonna explain this to you. Just a second. In just a second. Uh, all right. So, what are these subnets? Just like I mentioned to you, subnets are basically subsections inside a VPC. All right. So, how we are going to create subnets? Just go to this tab, subnets, and uh, these subnets are basically, I think I've already created them. That's why they're showing. No worries. So we are going to create a subnet of our own, and don't select the default one. Select the my VPC or whatever name that you gave, the VPC that you just selected. And let's say I want to name this my public subnet, my public SN. Availability zone, you can select any of it, but I'm gonna select no preference. And for the cider block, I'm just gonna select it. Then for this one, just enter this. I'm also gonna another add another subnet. I'm gonna name this my private SN. No, I have no preference. And for this one, I'm gonna select this. Yeah. So basically what this means is that only the last one is variable. So there's 256 uh, IPs. The same for this one. And basically why I'm using this 1 and 2 is I don't want them to basically uh, overlap with each other or with any of the resources inside the VPC. All right. So that's done. And then just create subnet. So it's creating the two of them. All right. Now you can see the two subnets, my public SN and my private SN. All right. So there were some issues in the recording, so that's why the video recording was paused. So anyways, we were looking at the VPC. So till now we have created the VPC, we have created the subnets, and there's this route table thing. So basically, you can see and read the description of it. it basically route network traffics to resources. This is basically you can maybe take it as a analogy of maybe router. All right, route table. So we are not going to use the route table that's provided to us. Just go to the route tables and we're going to create a route table for us. Just name it. I'm gonna name it my RT, my route table. Then just select this my VPC. Then just create route table. And if I just show you now, if I just go to your VPCs and then visit this, right now this myRT created, but it's not linked with these two subnets. So how do we link it? It's still linked to this. So just go to the root tables and then just click on the root table that you just created. Then just go over here, subnet associations, and then just create, then just click on this edit subnets associations. Then just check all these, check the both of those, and then just save associations. And now if you go to the VPCs, and now if you visit it, scroll down and you can see that it's been created. All right. Uh, so this is you can even create two route table or however many you want. But in our case, we are going to create two route tables. One would be the route table which would be public. It would be basically handling the public subnet. This one, this will be connected to this one because this is the public one, and another one would be the private one. So I'm going to make this one the private route table. So I'm going to connect this one to this. So just go to the route tables, then just what you can do is that just open this your VPCs in another tab, and then just visit the VPC. Then just see how what's the code here. It ends with A5BC. So A5BC. So I'm just gonna rename that one my private routing. Save. And then I'm gonna open that and then edit subnet associations, edit subnet associations, and then the private SN, save associations. All right. So now if I load it, it's taking some time. All right. So now it has been loaded. And as you can see, my public SN is connected to my RT and my private SN is connected to my private RT. So what's the next step? Uh, Basically, now our VPC and subnets are everything we have configured, but we don't have internet access. So how do we do that? Just like I mentioned here, we are going to connect an internet gateway. So how do we do that? Just go here, just go here. Yes, internet gateways. There's already one created for you, but let's just create a new one for ourselves. I'm just going to name it my IG, my internet gateway. Create internet gateway, and then you might get this pop-up, or if you don't get it, you can just select here actions and then attach to VPC. And you can just select the my VPC, the one that you created, and then attach internet gateway. That's it. All right. Now, if I just refresh this once more, yeah. So yeah, it's been loaded. So now you can see that the internet connection this has been established, but it's not actually connected to the my RT. So how do we do that? Just go over here and just a second. Uh, Not this actually. All right, just leave it. There's nothing to change in the uh, internet gateway. Now we need to create the security group. All right. So basically, it's basically the firewall. So to create the security group, you're just gonna go down and you can see this security groups. All right. These are the default ones, but I'm gonna create a new security group and I'm just gonna name it my security group, my SG. You can, it's actually mandatory. So allows access to my VPC. All right. The VPC selected as my VPC. All right. So now you need to add the inbound rules. Right. So this should be empty. So you need to enter four of them. And I've also mentioned here. First one, HTTP, HTTP, SSH, all TCP, and HTTPS. So the first one is HTTP, and that, and actually, yeah, actually, just one thing, missed one thing. Just select this, and this should be anywhere IPv4. Then add another rule, then SSH, select the same, then all TCP, then anywhere, then lastly HTTPS, then anywhere. Alright. So now it's been added. Uh, these are the rules that you can use in your basic projects because these this ensures that there is no problem regarding any sort of connection. All right, because if there are problems related to that as a beginner in AWS, you might not be able to tackle that. So that's why I'm uh, uh, encouraging you to add all these. So let's see if we have added all this. Oh yeah, all right. So let's now move on to the next step. Just ignore that. Now about rules, you don't need to do anything. Uh, yeah, just leave it as it is, and then just create security group. All right. So it's been created. Yeah, it's been created now. Uh, all right. So now let's look at what's our next step. So our VPC setup is almost done now. Let's visit our VPC page once. Which was yeah, this one. But as you can see, there's still one thing missing, and that's the route table connected to the internet gateway. So how do we do that? Just go to the route table, IRT, and then just edit routes, and then just instead of target, just select not local actually. This should be there. Actually, select add route and just select this one and then just search internet gateway. Yeah, yeah. And then just select the internet gateway that you created, then save changes. So now where's my VPC? Can yes, yeah. Now as you can see, my public one is connected to the internet, and it's also shown as green. As you can see, the private one is shown as blue. All right. So our VPC setup is done now. All right. So next one, we are going to basically go to the S3 bucket setup. So let me close this and go to the console. So what is basically S3? As I mentioned over here, it's basically used to store files, static files. And what we are going to store in this? We're going to basically store this whole Python application inside that. This is our code. If you want, I can show you just a little bit. And so this is the application that we are going to uh, deploy today into AWS. This is a Flask application. This is the app.py. This is all the templates and all. So what I've done is actually basically I've uh, converted and compressed this whole folder into a zip file, and I'm going to basically uh, uh, I'm going to just upload this into the S3 bucket. All right. So for that, what you need to do is that just go over here and search S3. Don't go to S3 Glacier, just go to S3 and then just let it load. Another quick shortcut also, you can use Alt S also. Uh, all right. So I already have three S3 buckets, but you might have none. So just click on create bucket. All right. So now we are going to select the general purpose and then the bucket. All right. So I'm just gonna select my Python bucket. And one thing that you need to remember is that uh, it should always be in lowercase. You cannot enter any uppercase. You can choose this one because I already have but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna show you all the settings that you need to do. First of all, you need to keep this ACLs enabled. All right. ACLs are basically access control list. I'm not gonna go deep into it, but just know that you need to keep this enabled and do not do anything in here. Then just unselect this and then just select I acknowledge and then yeah, nothing else. Let's just see, yeah, nothing else. Then just create bucket. So it's going to create it. All right, it already exists. Uh, I'm just gonna add some name to it, some number to it. Then create bucket. These S3 buckets are basically uh, they require uh, mm, unique names because uh, they are basically they don't require unique names under your account. They need unique names throughout all the AWS accounts. All right. So let's just click over here and then it would be empty for you. So what I want you to do is that just click on the create folder and then just enter a folder name. I'm just gonna name it Python app and then just create folder. So it will be created and then just go over here and then just upload and then you can go over here and add files. Then just select the uh, this this basically the zip file. I'm also going to provide this to you in the pinned comment. So just open and then just upload. So it's loading. Yeah, uploaded. So yeah. So now you can see that it's been uploaded. And there's also this S3 URI. This is basically this, we will use this to access this S3 bucket, to access this zip file. And there's also another thing named as Amazon resource name. This is basically nothing but all the names of the resources. All right. There's basically unique names given to each. All right. All right. So our S3 bucket is now set up. All right, let's see what we're gonna do next. All right, so now we are going to jump into EC2 instance. I've actually written over here EC2 instance, but I've actually not explained to you. But at the core, I've actually explained you what EC2 basically means. EC2, the full form of EC2 is not EC then 2. It's basically ECC. So what its full form is Elastic Compute Cloud. All right. So what basically it means is that you get elastic compute. Elastic compute basically means that the compute that you get is elastic. Elastic basically means you can adjust it. So the compute that you get, it's adjustable. You can specify the amount of compute that you need. All right. And the compute that you are getting is elastic and it is on the cloud. So that's ECC. And that's what EC2 instance is. It's basically you might have accessed Linux through virtual machines. So that's basically EC2 instance. So just search here EC2 and then just go over here EC2. So we're going to basically launch an EC2 instance and there we are going to uh, deploy our application. So basically till now the all the networking part of our application has been set up. Now the deploying part of our application will be done. So just go to this instances and then just click on launch instances. Then just type a name. I'm just gonna type in my web server and then select this Ubuntu. Right. AMI, this is basically AMI. AMI is basically Amazon Machine Image. It's basically different operating systems. You can get Amazon Linux, Mac OS, Ubuntu, Windows, any sort of machine that you like. But mostly we'll use Ubuntu. Then for the instance type, you can select, there are multiple options. This is basically the where the elastic compute part comes in. You can select the amount of compute that you need. As you can see that this gives 1 GB of memory and let's see the most powerful one. As you can see this gives us 1000 GB memory, 512 GB memory, 64 CPUs, 16 CPUs. So you can see how much powerful machines we can basically rent on AWS. So this is available in the free tier. So just select that one, right? Then, all right. So you usually won't need a key pair unless you want to use a uh, SSH into the machine. But it's safe to create a new pair. But I'm not gonna create a new pair right now. I'm just gonna, all right. I don't have a key pair right now. Let's create a new pair. You can use both of them. You can, if you have 40 in your machine, you can use that or just dot them and then just create pair. Or you have to my new key pair. Then just create key pair. Then just go down and yeah, in the network settings, click on edit and just don't select the default one. Select the one that we created. Then in the subnets, create the public sub SN. I'm not gonna show you the deployment into the private SN. I'm going to deploy the whole application into the private one. But for practice purposes, you can try out the private also. You can basically uh, break the application into two parts, and then one part you deploy it into the public one, and the other part into the private one. But I'm not gonna do that. And it's important to select this one, auto assign public IP. Then do not create a security group. You already have a security group. So just select that as my SG. All right. And then the storage you can select, but I'm not gonna go into that. And we also need to do some changes in the advanced details also. So for this, just select the user that you created. Uh, Actually, we have not created this one. Uh, just click on this one. Let's create this one also. A user role, basically. It does not. All right. So if I show you my uh, user role right now, all right. Uh, Leave it. I'm not going to use this one. Let's just create a new one. So what you are gonna do is that you're gonna select on AWS service, then use case. Let's see EC2, then EC2, then next. Then I'm gonna give two policies. First is the administrator access. The second, there's this access. Wait, let me show the exact thing so you can type it out. You will want this one. Amazon SSM managed instance core. Then just next. Role name. Let's say I'm just gonna EC2 new role. Alright. And just yeah, just create role. Alright. Now just refresh that and then you can select the new role. Alright. Hostname type, nothing to do there. Yeah. So yeah, all of it's done now. Then just select on, click on launch instance. Alright, then just go to view all instances, refresh it. Might say this status check initializing. Right, you can just click on it and then just go to the status and alarms. Just expand this a bit, and you can see the status checks. There are basically two checks. You can refresh this and check if it's done or not. It will be also shown here also. Uh, all right. So I'm gonna come back to you as soon as all the checks are done. All right. So both of my checks has been passed, and yours must have also been passed by now. So just close this, and then just click on connect. Make sure that you select this one, and then click on connect. Then choose this option, connect using EC2 instance. You can also do it through SSH client also, but we are going to use this, and then let's click on connect. So it's going to let us enter into the machine that we just now rented, that we just now borrowed from Jeff Bezos. All right, let's just let it load. So now we are going to deploy all the code, all the whole application inside this machine. We are inside the machine right now. So how we are going to do that? So I've also provided you a list of commands here to basically uh, get this Python app running on the uh, inside this virtual machine. All right. So the first few commands, these are basically commands which are related to updating the system and also basically installing all the packages that we need for the project. So you can run them one by one, but what I like to do is that you just select all of them, just copy, and you can select right click and paste because this does not work simple control V. All right. So you can do this, or another thing you can do is that you can click on control shift V. All right. And then just press enter, and it's going to update your machine, and then it's going to install all the Python packages. Basically, it's going to install Python, everything inside this machine. All right. So us let it do that. It's going to take some time. All right. So all those things are now done. So now let's move on to the next commands. So just copy this and paste here to just see if they're installed properly. And you can see they are installed properly. All right. Now let's move on to the other commands. So we are going to use MariaDB for our database client. MariaDB is basically Uh, it's very similar to how MySQL works. All right. It's basically an extension of it. It's open source, it's free. So that's why we are going to use it inside this project. So don't copy it till here, just copy it till over here, right? And then just paste it, enter. Let it do its job. Yeah, you might get something like this. So just type Y and enter. Another time Y and enter. Alright, it's done. Then just copy this. Alright, don't copy this one, just copy this one for now. And just paste and enter. Alright. So now just follow these commands very, very carefully. So for the this command, just press enter. Then for this command, switch to Unix socket authentication N. Then change the password. Yes. New password, you can select it as root. All right. And another thing is that whenever if you're not a Linux user, or if you're already a Linux user, you know that the passwords are not shown on the terminal. But if you're not a Linux user, just a quick heads up that the uh, password is not shown on the kernel. So if you are not able to see what you're typing, don't worry, it's getting typed there. And root once again, and then yeah, it's done. So remove anonymous users, no. Then disallow login remotely, no. Then remove test visa with database and access to it, no. Then reload privilege, yes. All right, so it's done. All right, all right. Now let's paste this command. Now basically do the we are going to enter the data into the database, into the MariaDB database. So just you can run basically all three of them together. Yeah, it's been done. Then I'm just using all this as sample data. All right. And run till here. Yeah, it's done. Then the MySQL command is done now. All right. So now we are going to basically get our Python application into this. Our database setup is now done. So just do this one, run this one by one actually. Yeah. So we basically installed AWS CLI inside this. AWS CLI is nothing but it's basically helps us to connect to our AWS console through the terminal. Then to ensure that it's been installed, just time this. Yeah, it's been installed. All right. So then you need to type this out, and it will be different for all the users. And how do you basically create this command? I'm going to show you that. Just uh, go to the AWS console and then just go. You can search S3 from over here, or you can just you might have S3 in your recently visited. So just go there, then just click on the one that you created, then click on the folder that you created, then click on the zip file that you uploaded, then just copy this, then just you need to just paste it over here. All right. Yep. Then just copy this and then just paste it over here. All right. So it's been downloaded. And how to check if it's downloaded in my machine? Just do ls, and yeah, it's been downloaded. And some of you might get an error over here. So if you get some kind of any kind of error, you can basically type this command AWS configure, and then it's gonna ask you three things. All right, and those three things are basically what you downloaded at the start of this video, this credentials. Open it with the notepad, and then it's going to ask you basically, uh, actually not this one actually. Yeah, not this one actually. You need to create it actually. Just go to the AWS console, then just go to IAM, then just go over to users. Not users. Sorry. My bad. Go to the console, then just go over here, and then over here you have your security credentials. Then scroll down and yeah, access keys. Right now, I don't have any access keys. So just click on create access key. You can select CLI, or you can even select application running outside AWS. Any any of the one that you want to use. I understand. Next, create access key. And then you're just going to enter the access key. It's going to ask you the access key. It's going to ask you the secret key or secret access key, and you're going to enter both of those, and that's it. That if you're getting any kind of error, that error will be gone. Okay. All right. So if you're not getting any kind of error, let's move on to the next command. Let me just and yeah. So we were over here. So let's copy all of these together. In most of the cases, you won't get that authentication error because Amazon AWS already signs you into the CLI, but you might. All right. Basically, you can skip this command if you want. So you can even skip this command if you want, but if you skip this, you have to type sudo in all of them. So that's why I've included this command. So just type this in sudo, then you might be asked for your password, and if you were asked for your password, just enter root and then continue. So just copy it, then yeah. So basically, we are creating a virtual environment VENV for our Python, and you must be seeing it like here. Then just install all the packages we need. So it's gonna install all of them. All right, it's been installed. Then just open, just type this command, paste, enter. So this is basically nano editor. This, if you don't know what is nano editor, this is uh, uh, basically this is a kind of version of Notepad that runs through a keyboard. It doesn't move through. You cannot do something like what you do in Notepad. It basically works through the key. It's basically used by people who use Linux. All right. So I want you to just copy all this and make sure that you start from this unit, this bracket, and then just continue till target. Then just copy it. And for pasting it, you can use this directly this time. All right. You will see this. And then what you need to do is Control S. So you might see wrote 12 lines, something like this. And then to exit, you're going to use Control X. Just to give you a basic introduction to Nano, this uptick that you see, that's basically represent control. So Control X, as you can see, exit. So Control X. You can even open it once again and see if it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. All right. So let's move on to the next command. All right. So we're almost done now. So first I'm going to uh, let's just run all of them together. So space them, let's enter. So here, if you have been following me uh, on in every step, you might be seeing, you must be seeing something like this, active running or enabled, something like this, some green message over here, and if it's some red, then there, I'm damn sure that there must have been a place where you have uh, not followed me. So you can go back to the video and check where you made the mistake. All right. So congratulations, our AWS application has been deployed. So how do we access it? So just go to the instance and then just go to this IPv4 address. I'm sorry. Yeah. Then just copy it, then just enter it, and we're actually going to access it to the 8080 port. So after pasting it, just add this colon and 8080 and enter. It's actually blocked on my net. Just a second, I'll uh, configure my VPN and come back to you. All right, so now I have uh, connected with my VPN, so now it should work. Yeah, it is working. Congratulations, guys. You have done it. You have successfully deployed your whole Python app, a very basic Python app, to AWS, and it's working. You can even visit this on your phone and check it out. So if I just show you some features, this is the home page. You can add products, you can view them, back to list, you can edit them, you can delete them. All right, there's a lot of things that you can do with this. This is basically demonstration of a very simple Python app, but that's basically how you deploy an application to AWS. All right. Before you uh, turn off this video and go away, I want you to uh, do one thing and make sure you do that is you turn off this, you terminate this instance, because in the start of the video I said that AWS asks for your credit card, and I'm gonna make sure that you don't get uh, you don't pay at all. So if you just keep it running, it might be the case that you might be charged some money, but just to make sure that you don't get charged at all, you can just click on select. You can just select this, then actions or not actions also. Just select on the instance state, just select terminate or delete instance. Then let's terminate. So it has successfully initiated. You can basically refresh it. You can see that it's shutting down. All right. So now I can just go back to my Amazon console. All right. So you have successfully done it. You have successfully understood what AWS is, how AWS networking works, how a very basic application could be deployed into AWS. You have understood AWS resources like IAM, S3, EC2, VPC, and there's a lot that I've not covered in this video, and maybe in the future I would cover all those, and maybe I would go somewhat intermediate stuff and then maybe advanced. All right. So that's all in this video. I hope that you like it. And if you do, please like, share, and subscribe. And that's all about it.